They're all dead, they just don't know it yet.
In an age and a region renowned for cruelty and violence, Caleb was legendary. Born in western Texas in 1847, he had sealed a reputation as a merciless gunfighter by the age of 17. But it was 7 years later when he met Ailia Price that his hunger for bloodshed took on a menacing new timbre. She was already well beyond the bounds of sanity when he found her cowering in the charred ruins of the burned-out homestead where her husband and child had perished only days before. It was neither her tattered beauty nor her plight that compelled Caleb to take her in. However, it was the words he picked out of her virtually incoherent mumblings. He learned that her husband had attempted to rescind his membership of the dreaded cult of Chernobog, and in return cultists had set fire to the house in the night. Ailia was filled with rage, not at the cult, but at her husband, whose cowardice she blamed for the death of her young son. Ailia was Caleb's doorway to the cult and its dark purpose. He could not have known that in time he would come to love her, nor that their service to the cult would find the two of them beloved among the chosen, elite servants of the dreaming god Chernobog, the one that binds, devourer of souls. His name is spoken only in whispers, for it is said that his interest is easily roused. Those who peer fully into his smouldering gaze are condemned to madness and death. In the Hall of the Epiphany, a temple that spans the chasm between the worlds, the four remaining chosen stand at the forefront of a procession of worshippers: Caleb, Ailia, Ishmael, and Gabriel. Chernobog's presence is felt more than seen, the great frigid weight of a hunger that spans millennia. He speaks in a cacophony of voices stolen from the dead, summoning the chosen to the center of the sacrificial ring. They stand before the dark god, united by a sudden, inexplicable sense of doom.
Welcome, my servants, my slaves.
What is your bidding, Master?
You have failed me. I disavow you all.
What?
I've taken your love. Now I will take your life. Consider my power in a hollow grave.
Caleb awakens in cold and damp in a body he no longer knows. It has long lain as a corpse that refused to rot, protected from putrefaction by some unearthly link to its master. The pain of protesting muscle and flesh invigorates and awakens him. He welcomes it. It distills his hate into the maelstrom raging in the center of his mind. An agonizing cry breaks out of him, shattering the stone lid of the tomb in which he lies, knocking loose sediment, cobwebs, and the small unnoticed creatures that have shared his grave with him. A single word rings out through the darkness, echoing Chernobog's lingering howl.
Why? I live again.
Years have faded since that fateful night, but Caleb's thirst for vengeance is as fresh as ever. He begins his journey to reunite with the other chosen, knowing he must find them before returning to the Hall of the Epiphany, where together they possess the strength necessary to confront Chernobog. With the flame for Ailia still kindling in his heart, he sets out to find her first. She had been taken by Cheo, the ruler of the gargoyles. Caleb pushes open the heavy stone door of the crypt, emerging into the somber stillness of a cemetery. The earth trembles and splits, unleashing two decaying figures that erupt from the ground, their hands gripping axes, asking a thing and one thing only: a wretched welcome to the world above, These are the Cabal's relentless undead, expendable and savage. They are not particularly challenging adversaries, but they have this irritating tendency to rise again after feigning defeat, making it easy to lose track of those that haven't been fully dispatched in the midst of chaotic battles.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances.
Continuing through the cemetery, he reaches the entrance of a funeral home called Morningside. Caleb's gaze falls upon a figure cloaked like a monk. The shotgun clutched in his hands swiftly dispelled any misconception, unveiling a figure contorted in madness all too familiar to Caleb, a cultist. These zealots are the foot soldiers of the Cabal, numerous and weak, yet loathsome. The presence of the cult hints at a significant event having transpired recently. This recent invasion could also shed light on why Caleb awakened on this specific day, suggested by the mentioned link between him and Chernobog. There is also an annoying amount of vermin and critter, such as bats and rats, neither servant of the Dark God but nuisances nonetheless.
Open for business.
Caleb feels alive again, head rolling, corpse turning into hashes, wall exploding and blood splattering everywhere.
Who wants some? Who's next?
The more we advance in this distorted world, the more it paints a clear picture of Caleb's psyche. He's not the hero. His hands are as stained as the cult he opposes. Seeking vengeance, not justice, his path is personal, driven by a vendetta rather than a crusade for righteousness. He now progressed through the rail yard, where metal barrels, now serving as macabre containers for the dead, are being loaded onto wagons, destined for unknown locations.
Fresh victims for the ever-growing army of the undead.
Greeting Caleb at Miskatonic Station is a haunting scene. Panic fills the air as civilians, chased by zombies and cultists, run for their lives as they are shredded between both the cult and Caleb's relentless fire.
Take it, please.
Indifferent to the plight of these innocents, he sees them merely as potential sources of life essence, vital for his own survival in this hostile landscape. The invasion by the cult has profoundly altered the world around. The buildings themselves begin to take on a sinister, hellish appearance. Remnants of normal life, such as bookstore or pub, stand eerily altered by the cult's influence, decaying, tainted by darkness and chaos.
Looks like my train's coming.
Caleb's relentless onslaught brings him to the Phantom Express, a train he intends to commandeer. However, the locomotive is locked, prompting a thorough search for the key within the train's confines.
Get off my train.
Combat proves challenging in the narrow corridors, where zombies and cultists lurk in all corners and compartments, ready to swarm. Caleb eventually manages to enter the locomotive, where he ultimately stops the train by causing it to overheat, derailing it in the process. Caleb steps out from the wreckage of the derailed train amidst flames and spilled coal and arrives at the entrance to the Dark Carnival. What might have once been a sight of joy is now overtaken by sinister forces. Rat dogs, rotten candy, pools filled with snakes, and trash cans brimming with flesh.
I want Jojo. I want Jojo. Jojo. Jojo.
Within the carnival, a variety of games are scattered throughout, some offering rewards for completion.
This is better than Kool-Aid.
It's here that Caleb encounters three new adversaries: the bone eel, the hand, and the gargoyle. The bone eels, similar to the rats but aquatic, lurk in the water waiting for a prey. The hands, also known as hell hands or choking hands, are small, severed limbs from incomplete bodies repurposed for creating zombies. Initially encountered as a solitary, surprising threat, they soon evolve into a recurring danger. Darting quickly across the ground, their diminutive size makes them challenging targets as they leap at their prey, attempting to strangle them. The gargoyle presents a formidable challenge near a grotesque flesh carousel. These creatures, later also encountered as stone gargoyles, often lurk above, ready to ambush from high perches or cunningly disguise themselves as statues, clawing or throwing bones at their prey.
That's all, folks.
Another entity, a manifestation of filth and wretched chaos, can be encountered in this forsaken place. A being so vile and horrifying, its mere presence is so unbearable that it becomes a high priority target for Caleb to eliminate each time he sees one. The Mime. Adjacent to the carnival is the House of Horrors, an area steeped in unsettling ambience. Here, the walls themselves seem alive, crafted from pulsating flesh, with eyes and mouths emerging from the surface.
Over the lips, through the gums, look out, Tummy, here I come.
The path look obscure and unsafe, amplified by the sight of dismembered bodies chained to the ceiling and of blood flowing from the walls. The ride takes him through a flooded underground passage leading to a torture chamber. Although clear from the outset, the realization deepens disturbingly that what should be mere props are actually real deceased individuals, likely tortured in this very place, replacing the expected inanimate decorations with a macabre reality.
If you're blue and you don't know it, putting on the Ritz. There's no business like show business like I did it.
Caleb steps into the Hallowed Ground, which not only serve as a primary gathering place for the cult, but also house the entrance to Chio's temple. Throughout this level, an ominous voice echoes the chant, translating to Blessed Order, Blood Heaven. This location is steeped in symbolism and ornate decorations. Crosses ablaze, the three graces, sinister tapestries with the Grail, the Ouroboros, and the Scarab. The gargoyles abound, poised to attack if Caleb ventures too close.
You will know what to do when the time comes.
A daunting trial awaits Caleb in the basement, with Chernobog's voice echoing ominously.
2 portals lead to certain death. Choose wisely.
Choosing incorrectly activates a lethal trap, causing the room to erupt in flames.
Whoa, wrong door.
However, selecting the correct option allows him to proceed through the underground tunnel toward the Great Temple, bringing him one step closer to saving Ailia. His path takes him through the Great Temple, an imposing structure veiled in the mystique of ancient sanctuaries, with the altar of Chio perched at its summit. Fraught with danger, the temple is a labyrinth of traps waiting at every corner. The journey begins in its submerged basement, a gloomy chamber where waters, infested with eels, serve as a grave for half-devoured corpses. Caleb ascends, meticulously exploring the temple's various parts in search of keys to progress toward the upper levels.
Lambs to the slaughter.
In this challenging environment, Caleb's strength and skills are pushed to their limits. Every bullet must be judiciously spent, and the indiscriminate use of explosives could prove lethal, especially as cultists barrage him with gunfire while zombies and gargoyles aggressively attack at close quarters. His exploration leads him to a room marked by a ritual altar and a sacrificial table. Upon closer inspection, one can discern the remains on the table, a graphic representation to the cult's boundless cruelty. Caleb advances towards the summit, slaughtering all opposition in a relentless push upward, with the memory of Ailia burning in his mind. Despite the unceasing assault from the cult, he remains undeterred, ascending to the pinnacle that pierces through the clouds, his resolve unwavering. At the summit of the temple, he arrives at a teleporter who materialize him in a vast chamber. Caleb waits as the rotating walls slowly reveal rooms teeming with zombies, cultists, and gargoyles. Unfazed, dynamite is thrown, effectively clearing away the hordes, turning them into chunks of meat and splattering the walls anew. Caleb's journey leads him into the heart of the Great Temple. Here, a teleporter transports him to the altar of Cheo, where a grim sight awaits him. Ophelia's body, cruelly crucified on a stone slab.
Show yourself! Show yourself!
In battle, this monstrosity proves to be a fearsome adversary. He unleashes blue energy orbs from his eyes, some of which have the terrifying ability to track movements. When the distance closes, Cheo resorts to using his formidable claws for a more direct assault. If Caleb attempts to create distance, it swiftly takes to the air, closing the gap with alarming speed and leaving no opportunity for a moment's respite.
Sleep, Ophelia. Sleep, Ophelia.
This concludes the first episode story. In our next video, we'll venture into the icy Arctic in pursuit of Gabriel, who's been captured by the spider demon Xial. As you may have noticed, the game is filled with an exceptional number of references. Let us know which ones you enjoyed the most, and if you'd be interested in a video compiling all of them. Thank you for watching. Until next time.
Nevermore.